Module 10, use the features. Or as I like to say, well, yes, I did get a haircut. It is important for us to remember that when a platform adds a feature or has features that stick around for a long time, it's a good indication to creators that those features should be used every once in a while. So what I mean by that, things like stories, going live, filters very sparingly, music, stickers, those things are good things that you can use every once in a while for you to let the algorithm know that you are going to be using their features, but also it's just a new and different way to connect and be part of that nurturing content that we've talked about throughout this entire process. I like to say that it's why, yes, I did get a haircut, because I do think that when these platforms introduce something new, they're looking for us to beta test it for them. So going out and just testing it out lets them know that you're an active participant on the app and you just tried something new for them. It doesn't hurt. It may not help, but it also doesn't hurt in any sort of way. I want to make sure before we get started on anything that I talk to you about making sure you have some B-roll in your drafts at all times. B-roll can be used in some of these features. So it can be used in stories. You can put stickers all over it. It can be your saving grace when you do not have anything else to post. B-roll is what you should have for when life gets in the way. So you got to try to have about 20 to 25 pieces of B-roll. And the reason I give you that number, B-roll is 7 to 9 seconds of content. That's all it is. You are going to be faceless mostly in this, or faceless in the fact that it's not spoken, or you can do a voiceover if you wanted to. This is just your emergency break. You may never use B-roll, but if you have it, especially on Instagram, it works very well. On TikTok, I find B-roll works good, works better in stories, works good. Usually you have to make B-roll with TikTok align with some sort of trend, some sort of sound that it works with. So today I just did a post with a Taylor Swift song. I told you earlier, I wanted those beads. So I was getting that bead. But also when I was sick and I had nothing to post, I went through and used my B-roll. B-roll can also be photos. So when I say 20 to 25 to 50 pieces of content, that could be 10 pictures that you put together in a photo carousel. It doesn't always have to be 7 to 10 seconds of actual videos. It can be pictures. That way, when life gets in the way, you don't want to post anything. You already know your content pillars. You already know your mission. We've already been through answerthepublic.com. We've already searched, or we've searched on the Creator Search Insight tool, or we've searched inside TikTok itself. You should be able to throw a couple of pieces like this on your bulk drafting days and have it in there. So when you don't want to post anything, you throw something up. That's it. You don't have to worry about it. Look, if you can only get 5 pieces of B-roll, do that. So at least you have it. And this is what B-roll looks like. I don't even remember why I asked my husband to take this video of me. And it's not something that I would normally have loved to have been shown. I don't like necessarily the way I look. I don't like any of the things in this, but you know what? It was a day where I couldn't talk. I basically couldn't even type, but this was already done for me. It was already up, and this is what it looks like. Also, that is an example of, it must have been one of those Taylor Swift bead days. That's an example of how you use music and B-roll and you still tie it to your mission. So if you look at this again, here, I'm talking about content growth, but I'm also talking about your personal life. And here I'm talking about when I stopped caring about what other people thought or about how I did or how many views my content got. I started caring about my piece and the positive impact my life and content could make. Everything changed. My content got more views and engagement. I was happier, more peaceful, and yep, I felt 22. This is an example of using content. 1, 2, 3, 4 times on the screen. And it didn't feel like I was pushing it out there, and it didn't feel like I was just being repetitive. It used a song that was trending. It still was speaking to my customer, and it still was in my niche house. And it took me 3.5 seconds for me to put that together. This is what B-roll can do for you. And for those of you who are faceless content creators, this is what I talk about when you get this, because this is categorized as content creator tips. So this is what I mean by you doing a piece of content that uses the keywords multiple times in your videos. Included in this downloads here, I've given you a bunch of ideas of what you can actually film for B-roll. If you're kind of like, Nicole, I'm never going axe throwing, so don't ask me to do that. I gave you a bunch of other ideas of things you can do as well. So here, again, TikTok stories. This is something that A, if you're not feeling comfortable in front of the camera, do a TikTok story. B, they're not going away. TikTok likes them. They want them to be there, just like Instagram stories are not going away. C, anything you use for a TikTok story, you can also use on a YouTube short, just like you can use your conversations that are under a minute on YouTube shorts as well. So now you can use your content, Instagram stories, the TikTok stories, YouTube shorts, anything under a minute you can use on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube shorts. So you can repurpose your content and build up your social media presence and reach on 3 different apps at one time. Again, download Snaptic, just remove the watermark and upload them on the others if you just want to get started without even worrying about everything else. If you just want to edit one piece of content and you already have the captions on, just download the Snaptic, remove the watermark, and upload it to these other apps. Or you can use a repurpose IO to do the same exact thing. Again, in your B-roll, you can use this on stories. You can use stories to do selling content. So if you're selling something, except for TikTok Shop, I don't believe it works on TikTok Shop, but for anybody who's selling something, you can definitely do sales in your stories, and on Instagram, you can definitely sell in your stories as well. You can put nurturing content. So as I do in my videos, I've told you before, I sit in that back room, usually with my blanket on, and I'm giving you some sort of point of view. So I give people just an inside look about the behind the scenes of my life. Sometimes if I have really good content or content I think that's fun, that's super short, that's 7 to 10 minutes, up to 15 seconds, you can just go in TikTok, hit the three buttons on the bottom, and it'll say share, and it says to story. You can just repurpose your own content there. That's the time TikTok's okay with it. I don't know why you can't repurpose it on your posts, but you can for your stories. So I think that this is a great way to do it. So let's go through how to use your stories. And again, especially for those of you who are a little nervous in front of the camera, stories are great because remember, they disappear in 24 hours. And people can only send you an emoji as a response. They took away the actual like writing you captions and stories on it. So they're really perfect for getting to be connected.
If you're not using TikTok stories, I really encourage you to think about using them. They are an amazing way to connect with your audience in a totally different, short form, behind the scenes or direct sales kind of way. You just open up your TikTok like you normally would, either make a short form video, meaning anything under 60 seconds, or you can upload a piece of B-roll. As you can see right here, I'm just adding some words to the screen, trying to decide what I like, what it should look like, deciding if my words make sense for me, most likely probably deciding if it's spelled correctly, because it's not. I didn't like the music that TikTok gave me in this video, so I went ahead and found something different. Again, this piece of content on this story that I'm talking about right now is one where I'm going to tell people what's coming up about this course. But sometimes I do little silly videos about me and my husband. I show people the coffee I'm drinking. It all depends. I like to mix up that nurturing content and that selling content on the stories. It takes a little while to get some traction on your stories, but it is absolutely worth it. You just upload and hit story, and there you go. If you're not using the stories, I hope you'll start.
So again, you just open your TikTok app, you click the plus button like you normally would, you throw up a piece of B-roll or you videotape yourself for anything under a minute, and then you edit, add captions the way you would, and then on the bottom, you'll see it says stories, and then you upload it right to your stories. So if you're not using them, I hope that you will start to do that. Again, now let's do the same thing for Instagram.
So now we're going to do the same exact thing on Instagram. You're going to open up your Instagram page. You're going to go up to the top where it says My Story. You're going to find what you want to upload, or you can go ahead and record your story right there. Me, I'm just doing something for you all in this video, so I'm putting it up for you. As you can see, this is the worst piece of B-roll content ever, but I'm going to make it into something that'll be fun for Instagram. People will understand. Again, on Instagram stories, you can do both of the things. You can sell directly, or you can also go ahead and do some nurturing content like I'm doing now. This is just another way for you to connect with more people, and they'll get to know who you are, and they get to understand that you can be fun as well as be serious. And I think that using stories is another way to help everyone get out of their comfort zone and get a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera, because they just disappear. So it's another one of those easier ways to make sure that you are interacting with people and making sure that you're getting more comfortable in front of the camera. Because look, I'm just brushing my hair and not doing anything exciting. But I'm comfortable, I'm fine with doing it. And after I'm done, I'm gonna post this right here for all of you. So after you're finished with what you need to do for your story, you just hit literally on the bottom right there, it says your story. You're good to go. And now you've posted an Instagram story.
And again, on Instagram, if you are selling something, people are very used to having you sell things to them on Instagram through the story. So that is a great way for you to do some B-roll content and post at the top of it. You know, get this program flash offer, something like that. You can do that on Instagram.
So now we're gonna
go to YouTube. And again, on YouTube, you can take any of your short form content from TikTok, Instagram, make sure you remove the watermark, and then you can add it to a YouTube, and then you can start a YouTube channel without having to have one of those huge YouTube channels that is 5 or 10 minutes long. You have something right here that can be shorter form content for yourself. So let's watch on how we can do that.
Let's add a YouTube short, hit the plus button at the bottom. I decided to upload a piece of B-roll, just making sure that it looks okay for everyone. I hit the next button. Then what happens here is you hit a caption just like you did on TikTok. So it's going to be short. You can add in your keywords as I did right here, content creation for me. After I'm done writing my summary sentence, it's a little bit shorter on YouTube than it is on TikTok. I find a couple of hashtags that actually align with me. Again, I only pick the ones that are in the hundreds of thousands and tens of thousands, so my content can rise to the top. After I'm done doing all of this, what I do then is find the location. I always pick mine for the United States, but you can pick it anywhere you want at all. And then you hit the upload short button and you're good to go.
So this is a way for you to take one piece of content and put it on 3 different platforms. Again, you can use a repurpose IO if you want to, without you having to think and do 5-minute content. Then as you get more comfortable, you can grow on 3 different platforms using the same piece of content, because that content will what? Align with your mission, align with your content pillars, and you will have the ability to reach your ideal customer on 3 different platforms.
Let's add a YouTube short.
Sorry about that. Now, what I would like to talk about is Instagram and TikTok lives for everyone, because I think that they are both underutilized because people are so worried about what if nobody comes and talks to you on your lives? What if no one is there on your lives at all? What happens next? That's what people get nervous about. Don't worry, just go live. Just do it. It will allow you to get more visitors, more people in your account. It is nurturing and can be selling both types of content. But more than that, it gets you more comfortable in front of the camera and you get to talk to people. So let's show you how to go live on Instagram first.
Going live on Instagram, hit the plus button at the top of your page, hit live. Then it'll pop up, add a title for what you're going to talk about. And then you are going to make sure that everything looks okay for yourself and that you are happy with what you're talking about. And then you're going to hit the live button. You will receive a countdown when it is time for you to get started. 3, 2, 1. We're going to check our connection and we're live. When you are done, you hit the big red X arrow and you'll be all finished. Going live.
And now let me talk to you about going live on TikTok. Let's just review how to do it and then we'll talk about it.
Let's go live. Hit the plus button at the bottom of your screen. You're going to scroll down to live. Click it. At the top, you're going to edit the title of your event I just called the TikTok live training. Then you're going to hit a topic. I usually pick chatting, just making life a little bit easier for the people. Then you can add your live goal. I picked roses and just showed you how to change I just picked 25 and hit confirm. Then you click the settings button. This page will pop up. You can select moderators. You can go into practice mode, which keeps you in there for about 15 minutes. And then it goes live. And then you should add an about me so people know who you are and then what you are talking about. Now you're getting ready to go live. You hit the go live button, you smile, and you start talking to people. When you're ready to end, you hit the button up in the upper right-hand corner.
So going live on TikTok or on Instagram, I know can be daunting and it can feel as if nobody's going to show up and talk to you. So I wanted to put together some tips on how, when I first started going live, things that helped me. And in this download section, there are other tips that you can review and look at. But the first thing that I did was when I got on live was I already knew what I wanted to talk about. So I already had in my brain what I wanted to talk about. And I like to pick 2 things or 3 things. So for example, if I talk to people, I usually say, let's talk about growing your TikTok. And then let's talk about, recently I asked people, let's talk about my functional stroke, because people usually ask those 2 questions. I do that so that when people pop in and out of my live, as they come in and out, I'm talking about something different every time somebody pops in and out. So again, I'm still doing that selling active content, but I'm doing that nurturing content at the same time. So again, this does not go, well, it does go for TikTok shop as well. I would say that having more conversations with people is a bigger deal. So let's do TikTok shop separate from going live for everyone else. For those of you who are going live and you still are selling something like a digital marketer, you definitely have to have more than just your program that you're talking about in there. You want to mix it up with some sort of lifestyle or conversation, questions, answers, talking, and showing your program all at the same time. Eventually, when you go live more and you grow more, people will come specifically for what you're talking about. But if you are going to paint online or you're going to sing online, all of those things are great, but break it up so you're asking questions. You can use polls and quizzes. You definitely can acknowledge comments. I say in my lives to people all the time is, I'd love for you to join me. I'm talking about this and this, but you can ask me any question you want to in the comments and I'll answer within reason. And then I usually make a joke of, if you're a jerkface, you're going to get kicked out. So don't do that. And I'm not having anyone join me today. Now, if you want to have people join you, you can absolutely have people join you when you go in on your lives. I also think it's important for you to keep talking. If you're going to do talking, if you're going to do an activity of some sort, then keep doing the activity, but keep checking with people so they know what you're doing. If you just want to be on live to get credit for being on live and you just really don't care if people watch, then they can just come and watch you. You can clean your house, you can pick fruit, you can go on a walk. There are so many people who just sit on the beach and show people like a pretty view, and then sometimes people answer questions. So you can do that. You don't have to always go for lives that you expect a bunch of people to talk to you on. You can just go to live to practice going live. I want to make sure I give everyone that freedom first. Second, if you're going to be doing another thing while you're on lives, like I said, picking food or doing art or singing or taking a walk, then put something on the screen on your About Me of just like, join me as I take a walk, help me clean my house, and then talk to people that way. If you want to teach people something like I do, then you need to encourage them by saying, put any questions in the comments. Hey, you know what I learned today about, and you need to keep the conversation going, even if someone's not talking to you right away, because you have to remember there are people popping in and out all of the time. And then finally, you do know you can just go on live for 5 minutes. And if it's not feeling right that day, just get out. But practice doing it because it makes a difference. Now, those of you on TikTok Shop, I think that I know that you have rules, like you have to show your product so many times, you have to be on there and you have to make sure you're showing your product. Some people now are just doing lives where they're literally just showing the product and not talking face to face. Now people have something that they're on face to face and they're talking, but the successful lives I have seen are not just about the product. They are about the product and how the product has helped somebody in somewhere else. They are acknowledging people when they come to the comments. I would also love to encourage those of you in TikTok Shop and Amazon, if you're going to do this, is think of different ways to use your products that may not just be the way the product looks or is sold right away. So I saw a woman who took bike mirrors and she repackaged it and said that they were mirrors for her stroller so she could see things. And people thought that was brilliant. The more interactive you are on your lives, the more interactive other people will be on your lives. It's just a matter of you getting on there and not worrying how many people are going to be following you, because there are also people that don't get tracked on live. So there might be people in your room and you don't even know it. They might not be counted in the number on both Instagram and onto TikTok. So just keep talking, encouraging people. Say, I'd love to know, even it could be, where is it from? Is it sunny or rainy where you are today? It's rainy here. You know, one of the things I love to do is take a walk in the rain. Does anybody else like doing that? It will get easier the more that you practice and you will get more engagement, but you have to keep talking, selling, or showing somebody something. And additionally, I, again, would mix up, if you're doing selling, or especially digital marketers, if you're doing selling, do not just come on the live and sell your program the entire time. There are really successful people selling digital marketing courses that get on there and interact with the customers while they're there, but they also are talking about the program as well. I said this yesterday on a live, and I want to make sure that I say this to you specifically, digital marketers or people who are selling programs such as that. Also make sure that you're using words that are simple and people can understand. So if you say things like business automation, I don't know what that means. And let me just tell you, I'm a 7-figure entrepreneur and I would never use the words business automation, ever. In fact, I would tell you, in all of the people that I work with, that would not come out of them, because they don't understand what that means. And for me, business automation could mean so many things. Does that mean sending emails? Does that mean using AI? Does that mean for me that someone's going to answer my phones? Does that mean that there's an automatic way to build a website? I would love for you to start breaking down your programs in really simple terms for people to understand. In fact, now moving away from digital marketers, on your lives and in your content, you don't have to use really fancy words to get people to pay attention to you. In fact, the more you talk in elevated language, the more it has people scroll, unless you're making a parody of it. In my work every day and in my videos, you will see I try to speak at a 4th grade reading level. I do that in my daily job because that is a way for me to honor people that are getting confusing words from doctors. But in my daily life, I am tired 9 times out of 10 when I'm using social media, or I'm bored, or I'm looking for an idea. And if I find somebody that's just talking over my head, it feels so much like I'm in school. So just talk like a regular person. And especially on your lives, make sure that you are trying to connect with people. But if you're not feeling the live that day, there is nothing wrong with getting out and trying again on another day. The more you go live, and I'm not saying you have to go every day, but the more you go live, the more people get used to you, and the more that it works. Another way to get more engagement on your lives, again, there's no magic answer to this, is you have to figure out what time works for you and people who want to watch your content. So for me, I have had to do lives. I've done lives at 5 o'clock in the morning. I've done lives at 11 o'clock at night. I've done lives at 7. I've done lives at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've done it at lunchtime to understand, for me, for people who are interested in my topics, to see how often those people are online and how to understand where I get the bigger numbers for where I am. And there is no other way to figure that out than actually just going live. So sometimes engagement has nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with the type of person that is online at that moment who might be interested in something. Again, in this download section, there are other suggestions on how you can go live and get more engagement, whether it be on Instagram or TikTok. I think that one of the other things that really makes me stand out when I go on lives, and I think that helps people, is I like to have fun. So again, I usually set up that we're going to talk about how to grow your TikTok, and we're going to talk about my functional stroke. But then sometimes when I'm on live, it goes a completely different way because somebody talks about it and I just talk about it. It's okay. It's fine. If you get on and you're supposed to be talking about your digital marketing program, and then you end up talking about how much you like chocolate milk, that's no problem, because you can just say, now that you sold your program, you can have more chocolate milk. If you're on TikTok Shop and you are selling your product, which you have to do, and I know that you have to link it and I know you have to show it, but if you also can go off a little bit and say how that product made you feel younger or more fun, or everyone in the world wanted the product, you just got to keep showing it. Don't swear, don't use alcohol, but keep showing it, but also find other ways to connect with people. And those of you selling, you're going to have to find some sort of way to stand out a little bit. For those of you who are like me and who are on lives and you want to connect with people and you want to showcase with people, we still need to stand out too, but we don't have those requirements of showing products or trying to make sales. But if you're painting something, teach me how to paint with you too. Ask people questions. Tell people the weirdest way that you stored your craft products. If you are someone who's going to sing, it would be really cool for me to understand how you warm up as well. If you are somebody who's going to cook live, then I want to understand. Here, I would love if somebody did a live, and you can invite me if you do it and you're a cook. I would love to understand what I can substitute for what on different things. That's cool. Also, if you're somebody who is doing cooking, do that. Do a series of, if you don't have this in your house, you can substitute it with this in your house. That's a good series that people would pay attention to. And if you're on live, you can do the exact same thing. You have to just have fun. In fact, if I could sum up this entire course, is Good content is 50% what you put out and 50% strategy. And 50% strategy is also having fun. That is something else that will make a difference. So when you go live, talk to people, ask them questions, figure out what time works for the people who you want to connect with, which means you're going to have to go live at all different times. You can schedule your lives for people as well. If you want to say, I go live every Wednesday at 6:30, that's fine. I don't have that luxury in my life to be as regimented at that because of my day job, but other people have great success with that, especially those of you on TikTok Shop. I also understand for those of you on TikTok Shop, the longer you're on TikTok, the better it works for you. But I think that just practice going live first 5 minutes, then go 10 minutes, and then become regular. Try to go live once every 2 weeks if you're not someone selling. Go live once every 2 weeks. Then you'll go live once every week. Then you might go live multiple times a week. You may also say, I don't want to go live at all. I don't care. It doesn't even matter to me. If that's true, then you can ignore this whole module. But have fun in your lives. That's what's going to get people to connect with you and be closer to you. I hope that whole section helped you. On the next one, we're going to talk about monetization.